Hi everyone and welcome back to another Mixed Media Tuesday. Today I'm going to share a Mixed Media Clipboard project. So we are going to alter this clipboard. This is one of the items from my latest tools collection, and I'm going to start by using rice paper at the background. Now the clipboard that I'm working on is about 6 by 9 inches if you are wondering, and I'm going to alter it so that I can use it as a decorative piece. Now I'm using primer and I'm going to cover up the whole surface, even the top clip. This way I will be able to use paint later on, and I also need that surface to be white for one more reason. I will be using rice paper, and the rice paper is semi-transparent, so if you want the colors to look really bright and nice, then it's a good idea to stick it on top of a white surface. However, if you use the craft surface as it is and you stick the rice paper on top, you are still going to see the beautiful designs. However, it's going to look more muted. So it is easier to get that vintage effect if that's what you are going for. So now my surface is nice and dry and ready to work on top of it. I'm going to place my rice paper there, and I'm just going to use some water with a brush so that I can tear off the excess. Of course you can use scissors for that. I'm not going to throw away the rest of the rice paper. I will be using it in a few areas that you will see I have up at the top. And also I do get a lot of questions about rice paper. If you cannot find rice paper, just use pattern paper. The thinner the better, of course. Or you can use napkins. There are so many different ways that you can work with other elements instead of the rice paper if you cannot find that. Now I'm going to stick my rice paper with rice paper glue. This is a glue that is very runny. It doesn't smell at all and it dries matte. Also, you can use it as a sealer. It's not going to dry sticky at all, so that's why I like it. Now, the good thing about this rice paper is that you can easily lift and reposition when you compare it with this glue. So it's not like a napkin that it is going to dissolve. You can see probably that there are fibers in there. It looks like very, very thin mulberry paper. And I absolutely love the texture that it gives. So I switched to a bigger brush just to make my life easier and to do this a little bit quicker. I'm trying to avoid any wrinkles, but truly this isn't always possible. I work slowly from top to bottom, as you can see. And I also seal the top as well. Now up at the top I do have some areas that I didn't cover. I'm going to use the scraps of my rice paper, and with the brush I'm going to tear off a few pieces so that I can stick them up there. Now use that technique to tear off your rice paper. This is going to give you soft edges that when you stick them up there, they are going to blend beautifully with the other rice paper and they are not going to show at all. And if I was clever enough and I was planning ahead, I could have done this on the edge of the first rice paper that I placed down, so I didn't have that straight line there. It would help the blending even more. Now, of course, you can use your scissors to tear off the excess. I like to use a file because it gives a lovely finished edge. By the way, for this project today, I'm working with my new collection Dewdrops, and this way I get to showcase some of the products and you can see them in action. But always keep in mind that you can recreate what I'm doing on my videos with collections that you already have. Of course, I'm going to showcase my own. So anyway, it is a beautiful collection if you ask me. Now I'm going to use a sponge dabber and I'm going to dab on top of that metal clip. So this is going to create kind of a texture up there. I'm doing that with acrylic paint. The acrylic paint is going to stick on that metal part because I did prime it beforehand. I'm also going to do it all around the edges to give it kind of a frosty look because I'm going for a winter theme today. Now if you want to use this clipboard, you can stop here. You can even hand it as a gift to someone. It is practical, it is usable, You can even add a couple of magnets and stick it on your fridge to hold on your notes or your calendar. So these are the basic steps that you can do and the easiest ones. Here is another example using another rice paper. I embellished this one up at the top a little bit more. I just used some string and this is still usable. I just wrapped the string all around. You can even tie ribbons through the holes up at the top and still be usable. I even used some ribbons to decorate it. But as long as you keep everything flat and it is sealed already, it's perfectly usable. I'm gonna share photos of this project as well at the end. Now let's move on and alter this one even more so that we can turn it into a decorative piece this time. So I'm going to bring in one of my new stencils. This gives you 3 different areas. You can do icicles if you like, you can do snowflakes. I'm going to use the snowflakes for this project and I'm going to apply modeling paste. This is volume paste, which I love just because it is very, very thick and it always gives you perfect results. So I'm going to add some snowflakes here and there. Now I get asked a lot about the layering and why I end up covering what I did. Now at this stage I don't know where I'm going to stick my focal points. I just play with the stencil and add snowflakes here and there. I know at the end some of those snowflakes are going to be covered, however I'm sure you will be able to see some of them peeking through. If you want to be more precise than I am, you can definitely do so. You can play with your focal points, decide where everything is going to fall, and then go ahead and do the stenciling. Now this tag comes from the Dewdrops pattern paper, the 12 by 12 one. I'm just distressing the edges a little bit with my scissors. And then I'm going to use the paper cutouts of this collection. Now I designed these ones so that they give you one page full of sentiments and quotes, and then you get 3 more pages with elements that you can use as focal points. The pattern paper, the paper pad, is actually more of a background paper pad, so you can find all the elements that you need to build up your clusters and your focal points on these paper cutouts. These are all pre-cut for you. All you need to do is just pop them out. If you are lazy and you don't like fuzzy cutting, this is the product for you. So for my project today I decided to go with the birds and the bird houses and create my composition, and there is a bonus on this product. If you turn it around you will see that they are printed front and back, so you can have the bird facing either way depending on what works for your project. Now the beauty of working on a mixed media board for me is that you can go as dimensional as you like. This is going to be a decorative piece. It's not a card, it's not a journal, that they have to be quite flat. So here I'm going to use some foam squares at the back of this panel and I'm going to stick it on top of there. Before I stick everything down, I'm going to do a little bit of dabbing white acrylic paint around the edges, just like I did with my clipboard. This way I end up having the same detail on all my elements, and it is one of those little details that bring everything together. And I'm going to do it on top of the birdhouse, on top of the branch. I'm even going to add a little bit around the petals of those flowers. Now I want to create something fun for the top of my clipboard, and I want to have that birdhouse look as if it is hanging from the branch. So there is a hole up at the birdhouse designed just for that. I'm adding a thin strip of double-sided tape at the back of my branch, and then I'm going to wrap around my string. The double-sided tape at the back is going to hold that string in place. Just wrap it a few times and then I'm going to stick that branch on top of my project. I did add thin strips of foam tape at the back, so it does add dimension. My bird is going to go on top of that branch, and then let's complete our little scene with the birdhouse. I did add foam squares at the back again. I'm threading those 2 ends of the string through that hole, and I'm going to stick it down. I just need to make sure that it's going to look as if it is hanging and it is nice and straight. So now I'm just going to use my scissors and chop off the excess of the string, and it is time to embellish it a little bit more with flowers and other elements that I popped out from the cutouts. You see here I have a little composition which was already made for me. I am going to double up on foam tape so that it adds even more dimension. And then I'm just playing around trying to decide where this is going to look better. This is what I like to do with all my cutouts. Before I commit and stick them down, I just play around, decide on the composition. So here I combined the blue branch of leaves with those flowers. I'm also going to pull out some of those snowflakes. These are from my decorative chips. You can definitely add glitter, emboss them, you can color them if you like. This is just thick chipboard, but I like the neutral color that they have. I'm just going to use them as they are. Some of them I'm just going to tuck them here and there so I can cut them with my scissors and make the most out of them. But really, if you want to add some sparkle in this winter project, you can definitely emboss them with sparkling white embossing paste. It's going to give that extra shine. I'm also going to add a sentiment. I just pop that out from my cutouts. And of course, this is the part where it is really difficult to know when to stop, so you can go on with embellishments and keep adding here and there little details. Now let's embellish that metal part of the clipboard. I am going to use some snowflakes from these ribbons. I am going to pick some that are brown and some that they are blue. And I don't know if you can tell, but this is a kind of textured area because I did that dabbing with a sponge. However, it is really easy to transfer the ribbon there. So that's my blue snowflake, and I'm going to add a couple of brown ones. And these brown ones really look like golden ones, so I think it is a lovely touch. Now let's move on and embellish that clip even more. On the other clipboard that I showed you, I just wrap around the clipboard some string. On this one I'm going to use my fabric, tear off a few ribbons out of it, a few strips out of it, and just tie them at the top, just to show you a different way to embellish it. So you see here I combined the strip of fabric that I teared off along with some brown string, and that's the same one that I used for hanging my birdhouse. And some finishing touches, I'm going to add some dots with my golden contour liner at the center of the flowers. And just like always, I'm going to finish it off with some white splatters. So that was the project for today. I hope that you had fun, that you got inspired. You can find links to everything I used in the description area, and here are some close-up photos where you can see the details better on both the clipboards. Thank you all so much for joining me, and I'll see you all next time.